Well, good morning. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. Really glad you could join me today out here in the vegetable garden. Well, I'm really excited today because we're going to go harvest 26 pounds of this tasty and delicious classic eggplants. And I'm also going to share some garden tips with you. So thanks for joining me today out here in the vegetable garden. Well, it sure is a beautiful sunny day the Lord has provided here in the first week of August. I can hear the cicadas or the locusts in the background, and you know we're in the middle of the summer when you hear those locusts rather than the birds, although you do still hear the birds a lot. Well, this eggplant certainly is a beautiful eggplant to grow in your garden. This classic eggplant, it's a beautiful dark purple color. It's something really easy to grow in your garden. It's a warm weather crop. So here in Pennsylvania Zone 6, our frost date is like May 15th. And so I always wait 1 week after our frost date to plant my warm weather crops, like your tomatoes, your peppers, your melons, your eggplant, your zucchini. Those are all warm weather crops. And I plant my eggplant in my 18-foot by 30-foot raised garden bed right behind me. And I grow my eggplant and my tomatoes and peppers in my 6 mil black plastic. It helps suppress the weeds. It's like a mulch that lays on top. It suppresses the weeds. It holds in the soil moisture. It warms up the soil early in the season. And it also keeps down any type of soil-borne diseases because it creates a nice clean surface right over the soil. And I ended up buying 6 of these transplants or seedlings from Ray's greenhouse over there in Telford, PA. And you want to make sure that you provide a good 8 hours of sunlight for these fruits here. The leafy greens you can get away with 4 to 6 hours of sunlight, but anything with a fruit or a root like a potato or a carrot or a melon, tomatoes, peppers, they like a good 8 hours of sunlight. The more the better. So when's a good time to harvest these beautiful eggplant? Well, they tell you if you can, the test is if you get your thumb and you push in the eggplant and it bounces back, then you know that it's ready to harvest or to pick. And this seems to be flexing right back. It's a nice firm skin there. This is a rather large one. Now you can pick them really any size you want, whether you want them pick them just the size of the palm of your hand or even larger. I also grow my eggplant in my composted leaf mulch that's amended with topsoil. And it's amended with topsoil so it adds additional minerals to the soil. And you also want to make sure that your soil is nice and loose. You know, I always work through my soil with my garden fork, that goes down about 12 inches in the soil, and then I rock it back and forth both directions, and that way the soil's nice and loose. That way your roots can reach far and wide, and as a result of that they'll take up more nutrients, resulting in a larger, healthier plant. I also add my alfalfa pellets to my garden early in the season, and then maybe once a month I also side dress some of my plants with the alfalfa pellets, or you can make an alfalfa tea by putting a couple cups in a 5-gallon bucket and letting it sit a couple days, and then just fertilize your plants using that. Well, my plants are right behind me in my garden there on the corner there, so why don't you follow me along and let's go harvest some of these beauties. So I have these classic eggplants planted right along the edge of my raised bed here. And why don't we take a closer look and see how beautiful these are. So I grabbed my pruning shears, which is certainly something you want to make sure you use when you're harvesting these, and you want to leave about an inch or more of the stem left there. I also thought we would go weigh these eggplant when we're done harvesting them. So I have a few more back in here. And you really have to look close because they can easily be hidden under the plant. That was a nice size one. I have an assorted size here, which is nice. But this basket certainly is filling up real quick. It's good to keep your eggplant picked too, because it helps produce more eggplant. And so you can see this basket has filled up rather nice. Another good garden tip is you want to make sure you stake your eggplant here. I have like a 3/4 by 3/4 pieces of oak that I ripped down, probably around 30 inches long. Dry them in the soil good 6 inches, and you may even have to tie up your eggplant maybe twice during the growing season, because you don't want these eggplant, the weight of them, to break the branches. So I have this one other eggplant right here. I had planted 5 along the outside row, and then I have one more here. I need to get a few more from this one, and then we'll be ready to go weigh that basket. I'm just looking real close here. There's a large one here I don't want to miss. So let's go weigh these beautiful classic eggplant. This basket certainly is pretty heavy. Looks like we have about 27 pounds. Let's take a closer look. I also picked my largest eggplant. I thought we would weigh it on my digital scale, and it looks like 2 pounds 6 ounces. So let's take a closer look. Well, it certainly is going to be a humid day today here in Pennsylvania. You know, it amazes me when I go out into the garden thinking that all these vegetables are just started by one little teeny tiny seed. And if you think about it, a seed is a living embryo. Although it's in its dormant stage, it needs to be planted in the soil, needs to be watered and nurtured and cared for. And when it pops its head out from the soil, you know, as gardeners, we need to be like a mother as it would its newborn baby, and nurture and care for that plant and watch it grow into maturity. And then we get the blessing of harvesting all these different vegetables. And so what a blessing it is to be able to have a backyard grocery store and to be able to go out and pick healthy organic vegetables. Well, it sure was fun harvesting these 26 pounds of eggplant. The basket weighed about a pound, and we had a total weight of around 27 pounds minus the weight of the basket. I'd say 25, 26 pounds of eggplant, just from a few tiny seeds. And of course, I've already harvested quite a few of these eggplant, and I'm sure I'll still have another month and a half, 2 months of harvesting, at least here in Pennsylvania. You also may be wondering, what do I do with this eggplant? Well, I certainly give a lot away to my family and friends. But one thing my wife and I like to do is we make like an eggplant lasagna. You know, we slice these up nice and thin, and then we get I think it's like a 12 by 16 casserole dish, and we layer in onions and tomatoes and the eggplant. You can put in basil leaves, you can put in green peppers from your garden, and then we just bake it at like 350 maybe for an hour or more. And it's just so tasty and delicious because all the juices from the vegetables just kind of marry together the flavors. And so it's a really easy dish that we make here with this eggplant. Well, if you have any questions or comments about this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And you can also visit us at PlantSmartLiving.com. And there you can learn more about gardening and also how you can reclaim and restore your health by adopting a whole food, plant-based, vegan lifestyle. Well, anyhow, I just hope you have a wonderful day and a bountiful garden season. So until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.